Lin Key strained his brain to its limits, being absolutely careful. While taking notes and calculating in his mind, he thought to himself, to calculate the average, 1 kilogram should sell for 2,500. However, after a while of mental calculations, he began to feel a sense of impatience. With an annoyed tone, he muttered, "What kind of ridiculous task is this? Who would be foolish enough to buy it?" Out of nowhere, a farmer appeared, carrying a hoe on his shoulder as he headed to work. Seeing Lin Key yelling in the garden, he asked, "What are you doing here, looking so down?" When he saw the farmer approaching, Lin Key quickly put away his sorrowful expression and replaced it with a cheerful demeanor. He asked a few questions, mainly to seek advice. "Brother Sand, can you help me with something? How much money can I sell all the fruits in my greenhouse for?" Without hesitation, the farmer replied decisively, "You better go to Shanghai. There are many wealthy people there who can pay high prices. If you're lucky, your greenhouse fruits might sell for 20,000. Upon hearing this, Lin Key was so shocked that his face turned pale, trembling in astonishment. Raising 2 fingers, he asked again, "Is it true that all the fruits from the greenhouse can only sell for 20,000? Seeing that the young man in front of him looked disappointed, the farmer placed his hoe on the ground and began to teach him carefully. "You should learn to be content. This is only because the fruits you grew are good enough to sell. If they were average fruits, you'd be lucky to sell them for 10,000. Hearing what the other person said, Lin Key was startled and stood frozen in place, unable to utter a word or hope for anything more. He gazed thoughtfully at the garden in the back and carefully asked, "Mr. Dao, do you think it's possible to sell for 1 million? Then, both of them returned to the garden owner's house. The owner's daughter ran out and hugged her father's arm, smiling and saying, "Father, I want to go with everyone." He looked at his daughter in surprise, his face slightly tense but gently refused. "You have an upcoming examination for graduate school. Stay home and study well." She was still determined to plead. "I study every day. I'm going to go crazy. Take me outside for a walk, father." Finally, he had to agree, but still reminded her, "All right, but you have to get up early. If you wake up late, I won't take you anywhere." She laughed cheerfully and flattered him. "Thank you, father. You are the best." On the second day, at the fruit-growing garden, the sunlight sparkled, creating an incredibly poetic scene. Everyone was busy loading boxes of fruit onto the pickup truck, reminding each other, "Take it easy." The garden owner sat in the driver's seat, leaning over to ask Lin Key, who was sitting next to him, "Lin Key, you are from Shanghai. Introduce me to a good place to sell fruit. Where can we sell it at a good price?" Lin Key was scrolling through his phone when he heard the question and looked up to reply. "We should look for an area with high prices. People there spend a lot. Just take Tong Cheng Yi Pin Road, which happens to be the area of your company's location. By then, I'll greet and ask for a good booth." The daughter of the owner exclaimed in surprise, "Tong Cheng Road. It seems that's the best area in Shanghai, right? I heard that 1 square meter there costs more than 200,000. Lin Key nodded and added, "Everyone here has money that can buy things without blinking an eye. It's just the right place." The truck, loaded with medium-sized boxes, sped down the city road. Around them were towering skyscrapers. Everyone in the truck agreed to go there. A while later, the truck slowly stopped in front of a high-end residential area. The garden owner anxiously turned to Lin Key and asked, "Is this place okay? With such wealth, will they let us set up a booth?" Lin Key calmly smiled at him and then replied, "It's all right. I've arranged everything. No one will come to chase us away, so just feel free to sell." Hearing this, the garden owner hit the brakes and said, "If you say so, then I feel reassured to set up." Everyone helped each other, carrying heavy boxes of fruit down from the pickup truck. Lin Key looked at the boxes of fruit and thought to himself, "If we can't sell them, I'll call Wang Tianlong to pick them up. The Bandao Hotel needs them, they'll be gone in a day. The problem is, if my fruit doesn't sell for an average of 2,500 per kilo, then don't even think about the mission anymore." Suddenly, his phone vibrated. Liang Ru Yu was calling. He looked at the screen and quickly answered, smiling as he said, "I'm back from Complete Joy Village. I'm at Tongcheng selling fruit. If you have nothing to do, come over and pick some up." On the other end, Liang Ru Yu was surprised and jumped up asking, "What did you say? You're selling fruit? Are you going crazy from being too bored? Lang Yun Corporation, a huge business worth hundreds of thousands of dollars, and you're not worried and running off to sell fruit?" She scolded him angrily. Lin Key's demeanor gradually fell, and he furrowed his brow, replying, "I've even explained it. Isn't it perfectly normal to sell fruit here? If you want some, come quickly." While Lin Key was still talking to Liang Ru Yu, a luxurious yellow car pulled up next to him. Click! The car door opened and a person stepped out of the vehicle. There were 2 incredibly beautiful girls, one with blonde hair and the other with green hair. They were strolling when they noticed Lin Key's fruit stand. The girl with green hair was surprised, her voice full of agitation. "What's going on? How can someone sell goods at the entrance of Tong Cheng Street?" Am I not seeing correctly? At that moment, Lin Key was sitting inside the stand scrolling through his phone. The blonde girl appeared quite happy, laughing as she said, whether he sells vegetables or not doesn't matter. But that vegetable seller is so handsome. He seems even more attractive than the models in the industry. She couldn't stop praising Lin Key's appearance. The green-haired girl was taken aback and helplessly teased her friend. You're not falling for him, are you? They say that if you are openly lustful, it doesn't count as lust, but if you're secretly lustful, you'll get big pimples. You've got a few pimples already, you must be lustful. The blonde girl didn't pay attention and replied to her friend, Are you like that too? With a handsome guy like him who can resist? Stop dragging things out, let's go check it out. She urged her friend to hurry, then quickly walked towards Lin Key's stand. She picked up a plump peach, smiling as she said, The fruits here don't look bad, they already look delicious. Meanwhile, the green-haired girl just stood by, helpless in the face of her friend's enthusiasm. She said to Lin Key, Brother, how much are your peaches? Weigh me 5 fruits? He picked up a plastic bag and quoted the price to the two girls, 2,500 per kilogram. I will weigh for you now. Hearing the price, the two girls were shocked, as if struck by lightning. Wait, what did you say? 2,500 per kilogram. The owner of the orchard ran over, panicking, and asked Lin Key, What are you talking about? 2,500 per kilogram, Lin Key replied while he looked quite carefree at everyone. He reached down to pick a peach, continuing, My fruits are different from others. They have detoxifying, beauty-enhancing, and hormone-regulating effects. Of course, they have to be sold at a high price. Lin Key held up the peach. Hearing this, Ningxi pouted, frowned, crossed her arms in annoyance, and said, Scammer, what kind of fruit does your family grow that you can sell for 2,500 per kilogram? Lin Key remained confident and a bit arrogant, responding, When did I deceive you? Before you bought it, I told you the price. If you like it, buy it. If not, then forget it. The girl, angry, pointed her finger at Lin Key and shouted, What's wrong with you? Am I wrong? Do you think I will report you? What is this detoxification, beauty enhancement, and hormone regulation? This is false advertising, and you have to be held accountable under the law. Lin Key seemed indifferent. He shook his head and waved his hand. If you can't afford it, then don't buy it. I'm not begging you. Xiao Yu noticed something was off with her friend and pulled Ning She's hand, saying, Stop arguing. There are many people here. They announced the prices beforehand. Buying or not is our free choice. There's no need to criticize them. Then, to ease the tense atmosphere, the female streamer came up with an idea. She cheerfully asked Lin Key, Brother, the peaches seem a bit expensive. Can I buy one? Hearing this, Ning Shi became furious and exclaimed, Tan it! Is there something wrong with your brain? Why would you buy such expensive fruit? He just thinks he's somewhat good-looking and is here to trick people like you who are into boys. It seems Xiao Yu wasn't really listening to her friend. She held Ning She's hand, persuading him, Just buy one to try. I'm only getting one. It won't cost much. If they dare to sell it for such a high price, there must be something special about it. Ning Shi turned his head away, exasperated, and said, I can't be bothered. People like you are brainless and still go crazy for boys. Xiao Yu picked up a peach and said in a slightly dangerous tone, Weigh one. If it's not good, I'm coming to you for a refund. Lin Key replied, That's not a problem. Lin Key placed the peach on the scale, put it in the bag, and happily said, $910 is fine. I'll scan the code for you. Xiao Yu took out her phone, accepted the bag of peaches under the annoyed gaze of her friend. Lin Key thanked her and added, I see you have money. I wonder where you spend it. As they walked, Ning Shi complained and scolded. The more I think about it, the angrier I get. I'm going to call and report him now. Xiao Yu quickly intervened. Hey, what are you doing? He didn't touch you. Why would you report him? Hearing this, Ning Shi erupted with a long string of complaints. You still say he didn't touch me. He was angry with me just now. Didn't you see? In short, don't stop me. Otherwise, we won't be friends anymore. If I don't report him, I won't sleep all tonight. This statement left Xiao Yu helplessly smiling at her fiery friend. Ning Shi took out her phone, dialed a number, and angrily raised it to her ear. Hello, manager. There are 2 fruit vendors at the door. Why aren't you managing them? Look at how Tongcheng Road has become. Is it a market now? Seeing this, Xiao Yu's face showed clear worry, wondering if it was really that severe. After finishing the call, Ning Shi's spirits improved significantly. She smiled widely and said, After the call, it feels so good. There is an imported fruit supermarket nearby. I'm going to buy 10 kilograms right now. It must be better than what you have. Xiao Yu did not listen to her friend. She was still enchanted by the peach of that handsome young man, excitedly saying, I really can't believe this. Look at its shape. Just by looking at its color, you can tell it's delicious. Ning Shi sighed helplessly. You really are beyond help. As soon as she opened the door and arrived home, Xiao Yu quickly went to the kitchen to wash the peach, laughing and saying, "This peach looks more beautiful the more I look at it." This made Ning Shi glare at her, while Xiao Yu's eyes lit up as she greedily held the shimmering peach, saying, "I can't wait any longer." She opened her mouth wide and took a bite, nearly tearing up. Xiao Yu stood frozen, speechless after taking a bite. Ning Shi asked with some concern, "What kind of expression is that? You're not poison, are you? I told you we had issues. Do you believe me now?" Suddenly, Xiao Yu jumped up in joy, raising the peach and shouting, "Poisoned? No way. This peach is incredibly sweet. I've never eaten any fruit as sweet as this in my whole life." This left Ning Shi shocked and astonished. She couldn't believe it and complained, "Please don't showcase your acting skills in front of me. It's too exaggerated." Qin Ying Yu showed great fondness for the peach in her hand. After taking a bite, she praised the flavor of this peach enthusiastically. She said, "You are being openly jealous. It's really super sweet. It's the kind of sweetness you can't imagine. Sweet, but not cloying, refreshing, tasty, rich, lingering with a flavor like first love." Ning Shi still didn't believe her words. She replied, "Stop exaggerating. Lucky try." Then she immediately took the half-eaten peach from Qin Ying Yu's hand. After taking a bite, her eyes widened in surprise as she exclaimed, "What kind of peach is this? It's too sweet." Qin Ying Yu quickly took back the peach before Ning Shi's bewildered gaze. She smiled and asked, "See, I told you it was delicious, right? The flavor of this peach." Ning Shi found it so delicious that tears came to her eyes. She reached out after Qin Ying Yu, saying, "Give me another piece." Qin Ying Yu chewed the piece of peach in her mouth and turned to remind her, "If you want to eat it, go buy it yourself. Now you know that your brother's things are expensive, right?" An hour later, Ning Shi was sitting on the sofa engrossed in a book when she suddenly heard a loud scream that startled her and made her look up. Curious, she asked, "What's wrong? Did you see a cockroach?" From outside the door, Qin Ying Yu urged her, "No, there's nothing. Come here quickly." Ning Shi hurriedly stepped out and saw that Qin Ying Yu was still fine and was engrossed in admiring her beauty in the mirror. She asked, "Why are you so excited? It seems like nothing's going on." Qin Ying Yu happily pointed at her face and exclaimed, "No, look at my face, the act is gone." Ning Shi was also surprised and exclaimed, "What is going on? How did the acne suddenly disappear? Did you secretly use some makeup?" Qin Ying Yu leaned in close to the mirror, her face nearly touching the glass. At that moment, she felt full of happiness and wondered, could it be that the peach has beauty-enhancing properties and regulates hormonal balance? Ning Shi rested her chin on her hand, looking puzzled. She asked, "Since we ate the peach just an hour ago, isn't the effect showing too quickly? Without taking medicine or applying acne cream, the results shouldn't be this good." Touching her smooth skin, Qin Ying Yu said, "Feel my chin. The skin is incredibly smooth." Ning Shi gently stroked Qin Ying Yu's face. She had to give her a compliment. "It really is very soft." Qin Ying Yu suggested, "Let's go buy some more peaches. If the acne disappears after eating them, then it means the peach has a special effect." Seeing the logic in that idea, Ning Shi immediately agreed. Okay. Hurry up and get dressed. Let's go there right now." In the security control room, a voice rang out. "All right, stop playing." Tong Ching announced, "There is a complaint. There is a farmer outside our gate selling goods. Let's go out and see what's going on." A security officer seemed excited upon hearing this news. He said, "There's a vendor on our Tong Cheng Road. This is interesting." Then they all went outside together. Suddenly, they came across a familiar-looking car. Looking at the car in front of them, a security guard asked, "Isn't this Manager Zhang's car?" Manager Zhang approached with glasses on his face and asked, "Where are you going in such a hurry?" Tong Cheng replied, "There is a complaint about a farmer selling goods outside our gate. We're going to handle it right now." Manager Zhang immediately flew into a rage. He angrily shouted, "Handle what? Quickly go back. The logistics department of the group just called me, saying that the president of the group personally announced that the vendor at the gate is his friend. Anyone who dares to deal with this can pack up and leave." They were frightened to the point of turning pale, mouths agape in surprise. The head of security anxiously said, "The director's friend? Why is the director's friend selling things here?" Manager Zhang pointed to the sky and instructed, "If anyone is dissatisfied, just let them know. If you like it, stay. If you don't, then leave. All right, you all go over there and greet them. See if the director's friend needs any help." The security guards raised their hands and replied in unison, "Understood." At that moment, outside the gate, the sun was shining brightly. Seeing the security guards approaching, Yao Yao anxiously asked, "The security is here. Should we leave?" Lin Key calmly replied, "Leave? I've already taken care of everything for you." As soon as he met Lin Key, Tong Cheng warmly greeted, "Hello, I'm the head of the security team from Tong Cheng." Lin Key frowned and asked, "What do you want with me?" He quickly waved his hand in response. "Nothing at all. I just came to see if you need any assistance. If there's nothing, just let us know, and I will take care of it for you." Lin Key cheerfully replied, "You're being too polite. I'm just here to sell some vegetables and fruits. There's nothing you need to help with." Tong Cheng bowed his head in greeting before leaving. "All right then. If you don't need any assistance, we'll take our leave and not disturb your business." The farmer standing next to Lin Key joyfully praised. "Sao Lin, you really have talent. This trip to Shanghai was worth it going with you. I've learned a lot." He spoke with a happy expression. Lin Key picked up the peach and advised, "It's a small matter. Don't worry. Just be bold and sell. No one will manage us." As soon as Lin Key finished speaking, Ning Shi and Qin Yingyu hurried over. Qin Yingyu raised her hand and called out loudly, "Boss, sell me one peach?" Lin Key, standing with his arms crossed, gently asked, "Don't you doubt that I'm a fraud? You wonder why you came to buy then?" Ning Shi quickly clasped her hands and smiled. "I'm sorry I was too impulsive earlier. Please don't take it to heart. I apologize." Lin Key replied softly, "No need to apologize. Anyway, my items are extremely expensive. You weren't wrong." Ning Shi happily pointed to the fruit stall ahead and said, "Thank you for understanding. Please weigh me the largest one." After weighing, Lin Key put the peach into a plastic bag and handed it to her, announcing, 1,080, just give me 1,000. Ning Shi was very pleased as she held the bag of fruit. She and Qin Yingyu chatted excitedly on their way home. As soon as they got home, Ning Shi hurriedly took out the peach to eat. She enjoyed the fruit immensely. After taking the first bite, Ning Shi couldn't stop praising the flavor of the peach. "This is just too delicious. How does he grow his fruit? It's truly unbeatable." Qin Yingyu leaned down. Maout said, "This taste is like that of a first love." After finishing the peach, Ning Shi put the pit onto the plate. She wiped her mouth with her hand and then turned to urge Qin Yingyu, "Hurry and see if the blemishes on my face have disappeared." Qin Yingyu smiled softly, replying, "Are you crazy? Do you think it's a miracle drug? How could the effect be that fast?" She pointed to the bathroom and advised Ning Shi, "You should shower first, then check the results later." Ning Shi agreed, "Okay, I'll listen to you." Ning Shi followed her friend's advice and went into the bathroom. An hour later, she finished her shower and came out wrapped in a towel. Looking at her reflection in the mirror, Ning Shi exclaimed joyfully, "Oh my gosh, come here and see that the blemishes on my face are gone." Qin Yingyu lightly touched Ning Shi's face and also exclaimed in surprise, "Oh my gosh, the blemishes are really gone. Plus, your skin looks beautiful, feeling so plump and hydrated." Ning Shi happily touched her face and suggested, "Let's go buy more peaches. This is way more effective than cosmetics." Qin Yingyu immediately agreed, Sure. The effect of this peach is much better than masks and injections." Ning Shi hurriedly pushed her friend out of the room and instructed, "Wait for me a moment. A few days ago, I bought some sexy dresses I'm going to change." Qin Yingyu turned her head back, looking at her curiously, and asked, "What are you planning to do?" Ning Shi explained, "Getting ready to be flirty. Who knows, it might get me a discount." Qin Yingyu stood outside, her face darkening. She helplessly said, "A moment ago, you were criticizing others, and now you want to seduce them. I think you're in love with men." At Lin Key's fruit stall, Ning Shi leaned back comfortably on a chair surrounded by other customers buying. Yao nervously asked, "Lin, aren't your prices a bit high? I feel like there could be a discount." Lin Key placed his hand behind his neck, calmly replied, "If you like it, buy it. If you don't, then don't. Those who want to buy will bite the hook. When word of mouth spreads, people will come to buy." Suddenly, Ning Shi and Qin Yingyu held hands and walked over, calling out loudly, Boss. Lin Key feigned indifference and asked, "You two are back again." Saying that, Lin Key immediately stood up to sell to them. After pondering for a moment, Ning Shi spoke up, "I'll buy 4 kilograms of peaches." Ning Shi said, "Sell me $10,000. Her friend Ying Yu, standing next to her, immediately echoed, "I also want to buy $10,000. They were eagerly buying peaches. Lin Ke, upon hearing this, was very surprised and reminded the two girls, "Even if it's delicious, it can't be that much, right?" Lin Ke also carefully asked again, "Are you sure?" Ning Shi confidently replied, "Of course we're sure. Not only does his family have delicious peaches, but they are also top-notch for beauty benefits. After eating his peaches, the hidden acne on our faces has all disappeared. I'm preparing to stock up some for home just in case." A woman nearby named Su Ling, the CEO of a public company, was surprised and turned around to ask, "What did you say? His fruits have beauty benefits?" Ning Shi replied, "That's right. Otherwise, Fruits that expensive, we wouldn't be able to buy so much. Suddenly, a middle-aged woman approached. She was Wang Na, Su Ling's neighbor. She advised, Sister Su, these two girls were clearly brought here by him. Do you really believe them? The girl standing next to her clenched her fist and angrily denied. We or not, we keep affirming that they are really delicious. Don't slander others. Lin Key held the bag of peaches in his hand and gently advised her, don't argue with the mentally challenged. I'll weigh it for you two now. Saying that, he placed the bag of peaches on the scale. Wang Na flew into a rage, pointing her finger directly at Lin Key's face and shouted, Lowly farmer, who do you think you're talking to? Are you calling someone mentally challenged? Lin Key clenched his teeth and angrily replied decisively, I'm calling you mentally challenged. Wang Na began threatening him, Lowly farmer, acting so aggressively. Do you think I won't call security to kick you out? In response to her words, Lin Key remained calm. She turned back to yell at Su Ling. Do you even know how to speak? Yao Yao stood in front of Lin Key's stall, hands on her hips, glaring as she reminded her, don't point at my Lin. Seeing that, Wang Na waved her hand dismissively, get lost. This doesn't concern you. With a displeased expression, she shot a sharp glance at the two of them and asked, You dirty farmers still dare to raise your voices at me? Who gave you the nerve? Lin Key calmly replied, If you keep waving your arms around, I will kill you. Don't believe me? Try me. His every word brimmed with determination, causing Wang Na to start feeling fear. She dared not argue back, beads of sweat pouring down her face, struggling to stand. Su Ling hurriedly approached to support Wang Na and advised, Let's go. Don't bother with these people. Wang Na remained determined not to admit defeat. She pulled out her phone and said, I'm too lazy to respond to you, but let me be clear, I will find the manager and have you kicked out. The two girls ignored Wang Na's arrogant remarks. They were only focused on Lin Key, their faces flushed, complimenting him. So cool. Lin Key handed the bag of peaches to the two girls. He didn't forget to remind them. Don't pay attention to her. Each person gets $10,000. Scan the code and I'll throw in 2 lychees for you to try. Ning Shi pretended to be graceful, gently brushing her hair and asked, Brother, I've changed into this beautiful outfit for you. Are you sure you won't give me a discount? Lin Key awkwardly smiled, pointing to the fruit bag and replied, Aren't I already giving you the lychees? If you didn't dress like this, you wouldn't get this benefit. The two girls waved goodbye to Lin Key and happily left. Ning Shi shouted back, Goodbye, brother. Suddenly, Lin Key glanced back. He happened to overhear Wang Na's complaints. She impatiently told the security guard, I pay so much in management fees every year. You can't even get rid of a farmer. What kind of business are you running? From the other end, a bold reply came. Our leader said if you don't like it here, you can move out. Suddenly, a luxurious car drove up, eliciting gasps of admiration from the surrounding crowd. Everyone's face was filled with confusion. A red-haired guy and a beautiful girl stepped out of the car with an elegant demeanor. The red-haired guy approached Lin Key's fruit stall and asked, Why are you here? Lin Key replied, My greenhouse fruits are ripe. I'm here to sell them. The red-haired guy chuckled teasingly, Are you short on cash? He scratched his head and changed the subject. Forget it, you're just a peculiar person. Whatever you do, I never find it strange. The red-haired guy looked over at the two women across the street and asked, Why are those two women staring at us? Lin Key pointed at them and said, That woman is looking for someone to chase me away. The red-haired guy angrily walked over to the two women, startling them. He furiously asked Wang Na, Do you want to report my brother Lin? Although slightly scared, Wang Na pointed directly at his face and firmly replied, Yes, he threatened me first. Let me tell you, my husband is the CEO of Child Insurance. You don't need to cause trouble here because of that dirty farmer. The red-haired guy was furious and showed no restraint. He slapped Wang Na hard across the face. He said, Are you crazy? My brother Lin came to experience life. You say he's a filthy farmer. Wang Na was pushed to the ground, one hand covering her face, sweat dripping down. The red-haired guy shouted loudly, Damn it, what the hell are you? One side of Wang Na's face was swollen from the slap. While covering her face, she said, How dare you hit me? The red-haired guy frowned sarcastically. If I haven't killed you, consider my mood good. A ridiculous CEO daring to act all high and mighty here. The whole Star Airlines belongs to me, but I'm not like you. The words hit Wang Na like a lightning bolt, leaving her so frightened that her face turned pale. She gaped, eyes wide open in shock, stammering, Star Airlines? Su Ling hurried over to help her up, then apologized. This is our fault. Sorry, let's go back. Both of their faces showed immense fear. Afterwards, the two women quietly left in front of the angry expression of the red-haired guy. After resolving everything, he returned to Lin Key's stall, picked a plump red cherry. Tasting the cherry, the red-haired guy exclaimed in surprise, Wow, Oh my god. He smiled and praised, Brother Lin, your cherries are so sweet. Hearing that, Lin Key crossed his arms and smiled gently. On the outside, he appeared cheerful and welcoming, but inside, he felt extremely angry. He thought to himself, damn it, stop eating. My KPI, it's still not completed. Lin Key thoughtfully offered a white napkin and asked, why did you come here? The red-haired guy wiped his mouth and replied, I have a house here. Nothing special, just came here. He suggested, Brother Kin also has a place here. Why don't you buy one too? The area where Lin Key's soul was filled with modern high-rise apartments. Lin Key quickly waved his hands in refusal, saying, no, my Ju Zhaoji residence still has a bunch of empty units. The red-haired guy complimented, Brother Lin, the fruits you grow are really delicious. Saying that, he casually picked a longan from the stall. As he popped the longan into his mouth, he chewed and said, this lychee must sell for at least $200 a pound. Lin Key shook his index finger back and forth, indicating that it was incorrect. He calmly replied, it's $2,500 a pound. Upon hearing the price of this fruit, the red-haired guy was very surprised. He exclaimed, what? What did you say? $2,500 a pound, are you joking? Lin Key leaned closer to him and whispered, eating my fruit, you can at least extend your life by 10 minutes. Hearing this, he broke into a smug smile. To be more certain, the red-haired guy asked again, are you sure what you planted is fruit, not rocket, right? Lin Key stood with his arms crossed, confidently affirming, when have I ever lied to you? The red-haired guy took out a plastic bag and replied, that's true, I'll take it home to satisfy my cravings. After a quick pick, he held up a large bag. Lin Key anxiously reminded him, be gentle, it's almost a kilogram, I still need to earn money. The red-haired guy, one hand on his waist and the other holding a fruit bag, walked toward the car. He turned his head back playfully and said, damn, I eat a little, and you are hurt. It's not a good thing. Lin Key could only watch them with a helpless expression. As soon as they got in the car, Gary curiously turned to ask, Brother Ming, who is that? Are you very close? He replied, if we weren't close, how could he call me brother? Then he took a cherry and popped it into his mouth before continuing, Mr. Lin, the renowned Shanghai, is the person you often mention. Gary turned to look out the window, now understanding everything. She responded, ah, so he is young Master Lin, who has a mysterious presence. The red-haired guy handed her a bunch of cherries and then said, Brother Lin thinks differently from ordinary people, not like us, so don't find it strange. Try it, it's really good. She took the bunch of cherries, her cheeks flushed with embarrassment, and replied, thank you, Brother Ming. I will perform really well in a bit. An hour later, after finishing up while his girlfriend was asleep, Jin Ming called Qin Han to talk about meeting Lin Key selling fruit at the entrance of Tong Cheng Street. Qin Han was not too surprised. He thought Lin Key's mindset was different from theirs. Moreover, since Lin Key grew fruit, it was normal for him to sell it. But then Jin Ming said, did you know this? Brother Lin said that his cherries can extend time. I discovered it really works, at least for 10 minutes. Qin Han could not believe his ears. He asked again, is that true? It has such an effect. Jin Ming suggested they both go take a round around Lin Key's greenhouse. Qin Han grinned slyly and said, wait, we will find it right now. At Lin Key's fruit stand, while he was playing a game, Qin Han's brute drove up. He wondered, why are they here? Zhang Yuan got out of the car and said, Brother Lin, let me taste your fruit. I've heard Mr. Liang say that it can extend 10 minutes. After that, Qin Han and Yuan went to the stand to sample the fruit. Lin Key saw this and quickly intervened. Hey, I'm still selling to make money. Suddenly, he saw Yuan take a plastic bag out. He panicked and yelled, hey, Yuan, if you can eat it, just do that. Why are you putting it in a plastic bag? Yuan smiled and winked at Lin Key. It's not easy to make a profit from you once. I have to recover my investment. Besides, the fruit on the ground is what I helped you grow. We should share a little of the harvest. Winning is only natural. Lin Key sighed when he heard her words. He felt that with Yuan's appetite here, the difficulty of the task had directly doubled. Qin Han, enjoying the cherries and finding them very delicious, asked Lin Key, how do you grow them? Then he asked Lin Key how much he was selling per kilogram to buy some to take home. Lin Key firmly said, $2,500 per kilogram. Everyone was stunned when they heard this. He immediately explained, I set a goal to sell 1 million, so tell them to eat in moderation. I still want to make money. Yuan, upon hearing this, directly teased Lin Key. She turned to Zhang Yuan and told him to quickly give her another bag to take more peaches and lychees. Lin Key was startled when he heard this. He smiled bitterly and thought, she really is a disaster. Later, Lin Key asked the three of them to find a truck to help transport this pile of fruit back to his house for him to sell again tomorrow. Then he asked them to take this bag of fruit back to King Ren. Yun immediately obeyed Lin Key's order and went to Ru Yu's company. He brought a bag of fruit for her. When the security guards saw him arriving, they greeted him warmly. Lin Key entered Ru Yu's office, held up the bag of fruit, and invited her to try the fruit he had grown. Ru Yu, seeing Lin Key brought her something, asked, "Why did you bring this for me? Didn't we say you would go pick it up?" Lin Key replied, "I couldn't sell the goods, so I closed the shop early. I thought I'd bring it to you as well." Ru Yu glanced at him and commented, "It's really delicious." Lin Key gently encouraged her, "Hurry and eat the cherries. They are good for your beauty." Ru Yu looked at Lin Key, pondering without saying anything. Then she sulkily said, "I want you to feed me." Lin Key immediately took her hand and put a cherry into her mouth. Ru Yu pouted, knowing Lin Key would act like that. Suddenly, Lin Key lifted her chin and leaned in to kiss her, making her jump. After that, Lin Key fed Ru Yu the cherry he had just given her. She blushed and said, "The cherries you grew are really sweet. They are truly not bad. I haven't eaten any as delicious as this one here." Lin Key laughed and asked, "Are you being too exaggerated?" Ru Yu insisted that it was very tasty. Then Ru Yu took out some fabric to eat. She found it also delicious, not only sweet, but also very juicy. Suddenly, Lin Key hugged Ru Yu's shoulders. He leaned in and whispered in her ear, "A lot of water is good, huh?" She blushed, pushed Lin Key away, thinking he was being too naughty. Lin Key smiled and turned around, saying, "Then you eat. I'll head back first, don't want to delay your work." Ru Yu noticed that Lin Key seemed to understand interpersonal relationships, so she asked him to bring some fruit to Mr. Yang. She said, "Even though he has stepped back to the second tier, he still holds weight in this industry." Lin Key replied, "Got it." Then he turned and left. At the hospital where Lin Key used to work, as soon as he stepped into the lobby, he saw Lai Xu-Han and Chao Xin. He immediately called out to them and held up the bag of fruit. "Look what I brought for you too." They were delighted to see Lin Key. "Brother Lin, it's been a long time since you came here." Chao Xin was very happy to see Lin Key bring fruit. Lin Key said, "Share it among yourselves." Chao Xin took the bag of fruit, smiling brightly. She felt Lin Key was very thoughtful. Afterwards, Chao Xin took the bag of fruit, said goodbye to Lin Key and Xu-Han, and left. Xu-Han opened the bag of fruit and asked, "Did you grow these?" Lin Key rubbed his nose and said, "They just ripened, so I brought them for everyone to try." Suddenly, Lai Yang ran out of the hall to find Xu-Han. Director Lai, seeing Lai Yang suddenly looking for her, asked, "What's wrong?" Lai Yang nervously said, "We have a patient. The situation is very strange. I don't know what to do anymore." She promptly agreed to go check it out with him. Then she asked Lin Key to join them. "Come with me to take a look. You're the best at dealing with hard-to-treat conditions." Lin Key immediately agreed. After that, the three of them went to the patient's room. Xu-Han asked the patient, "What happened to you?" He anxiously replied, "Doctor, my shoulder hurts every time it gets bumped. If it doesn't get bumped, it doesn't hurt. Can you tell me how to treat this? Is it very serious?" Then Xu-Han went to examine his shoulder. She only pressed lightly on his shoulder, and he yelled out in pain. Xu-Han was confused as to why this was happening. Lin Key then asked him again, "Your shoulder hurts when it's bumped, but doesn't hurt when it's not bumped, right?" He fearfully said, "Doctor, you have to examine me properly. What is my problem? I'm the only one in my family who can earn a living." Lin Key laughed and said, "If it hurts every time it gets bumped, then just don't bump it anymore. Doesn't that mean you'll be cured?" Xu-Han and Lai Yang were left speechless by his remark. She hurriedly told him to stop joking. After a moment of thinking, Lai Yang suggested, "Let's take an X-ray. That should make it clear." Lin Key confidently replied, "No need for an X-ray. It's too much of a waste of money. It's Sinovegas. Just pay more attention to rehabilitation." Lai Yang interrupted Lin Key, worriedly saying, "There's black pigment residue on his back, so I think it's related to the liver. A general examination is needed." Lin Key calmly responded, "There's no need to check the liver. Just a bath will do." Lai Yang was taken aback by his words. Lin Key directly said, "If Lai Yang doesn't believe me, then try wiping it off and see." Lai Yang immediately took a cloth and wiped the black mark on the old man's back. After a while, he noticed that the black mark on the old man's back had faded and that the stain had stuck to his hand. Lai Yang glanced at Lin Key, startled and apologizing for his oversight. Xu-Han saw this and didn't blame him, but gently advised, "You've just graduated and your clinical experience is still limited. You'll get better with time. We'll head out now. Call me if you need anything." Lai Yang immediately agreed and thanked Xu-Han for his advice. After the two left the patient's room, Lai Yang turned to the nurse and asked, Who exactly is this Lin Key? Is he from our hospital too? The nurse smiled and said, Are you talking about Director Lin? He used to be the deputy director of the cardiology department, but he has resigned now. Lai Yang was shocked to hear the nurse mention that Lin Key was the deputy director of the cardiology department. He thought Lin Key is only about the same age as the two of them. The nurse replied, I have heard the head nurse say that with Director Lin's technical skills, becoming the hospital director would not be a problem. It's just a pity that he has resigned. Lai Yang felt a sense of regret mixed with admiration. He looked at Lin Key's back and whispered, What a pity. At that moment, Lin Key had arrived home. He stretched and sighed. After a whole day, I'm really tired. He walked into the house and called out, I'm back. King Ren and her mother were cooking at that time. Lin Key approached and greeted them. Aunt and uncle, you're here? He asked King Ren, Why didn't you tell me in advance? King Ren replied quietly, My mom wouldn't allow me to say anything. Don't interrupt your work. Lin Key cheerfully said, I was just selling fruit. There's nothing to interrupt. Next time something like this happens, just call me in advance. King Ren's mother said warmly, You two are too free, with nothing to do, so you came here to have a look. Hashtag ERRR. Lin Key sighed and took out his phone. All right, let me try sending a heart on a live stream. As soon as he sent the heart, the female streamer immediately noticed and said, Handsome Mask, your name is quite strange. She cheerfully continued, Oh, the legendary Handsome Mask has arrived. Welcome, Handsome Mask, to my live stream room. Mr. G exclaimed in surprise, What? No way! Is there someone with the same name as you? Lin Key chuckled lightly and typed in a request, Call me father. The female streamer instantly bowed her head and said, Father Handsome Mask. Mr. G's eyes widened in disbelief and he was stunned. Lin Key teased, Uncle G, should I try it again? Mr. G helplessly waved his hand. No need. Just then, King Ren brought the food and said, You two stop chatting and come eat. Try my cooking. Mr. Jai put his arm around Lin Key and said, Let's go eat. A lavish spread was laid out. King Ren's mother served food to Lin Key. Xiao Key, eat some meat. Has work been tough lately? Lin Key smiled and replied, It's okay. Work hasn't been too busy recently. Your skills are really good. The pork belly is indeed fatty, but not greasy. Mrs. G cheerfully said, If you like it, I'll come every day to cook for you too. Lin Key laughed and responded, That wouldn't be good. It would tire you out. Next time you come, let me know so I can cook. I guarantee you and Uncle G will be satisfied. The meal is over, and now it's time to wash the dishes. Lin Key helps King Ren, and the two of them wash the dishes while chatting happily. Mr. G watches them and says to his wife with a smile, Don't urge them to get married anymore. They already look happy together. The scene shifts to the hospital, where Lin Key is carrying a bag of items. As he walks down the hallway, Xiao Gao calls out to him. Mr. Lin, Mr. Yang, and Mr. Shan are up there for a checkup. Lin Key smiles and replies, It's fine. I just came to bring some fruit, and I still have to go back to open my booth. Please help me pass it to them. Xiao Gao quickly grabs Lin Key's hand and says, No, Mr. Yang wants to see you. If you go, he will definitely take points off me. Lin Key nods and responds, All right, I can stay here for a bit. It's been a long time since I last saw him. Xiao Gao adds with a laugh, Isn't that right? Let's go up and see if the checkup is done. I heard you passed the organization's trial training with the best results. You have to give me some tips when you have the chance. I want to try it too. When the elevator doors open, Lin Key and Xiao Gao step inside. Inside, Dr. Lu Ming is talking to Mr. Yang. Your health is really very good. Lin Key approaches and says, I told you, you're not in any trouble. You don't need to be checked. Lu Ming felt uncomfortable and asked, Who are you talking nonsense like that? If you don't know, don't talk randomly. Lin Key firmly replied, I don't know his health. No one understands better than I do. Don't doubt me anymore. Lu Ming angrily continued, I am the head of the cardiology department at the hospital. Do you think you understand Mr. Yang's health better than I do? Lin Key immediately responded, I performed his surgery. Think about it. Do I understand or not? Lu Ming and the nurse were both surprised. Mr. Yang happily introduced. He was the former head of the cardiology department at Huashan Hospital. My surgery was performed by him. You just transferred here, so you probably haven't heard about him. Lu Ming was flustered. He is Director Lin and a well-known figure. I have heard your name before, but I haven't met you in person. I didn't expect to meet you today. Lu Ming stepped forward to shake hands with Lin Key and said, Hello, Mr. Lin. I didn't recognize you at first. I'm very sorry. But Lin Key grabbed Mr. Yang's hand and pulled him away. Mr. Yang, I brought you some fruits that I grew myself. They're very delicious. Mr. Yang cheerfully replied, It's rare for you to remember this old man. Oh, right, I've heard that you passed the training test with the top score. A few days ago, you also participated in another mission. How did it feel? Were you able to adapt? Lin Key replied, I think it's okay. The intensity is not as high as I imagined. He took the elevator with Mr. Yang to leave. Lin Key continued the conversation, but passing through Tili Island, I'm afraid the situation will be different. Mr. Yang nodded. Of course, what you are carrying out are all border missions. In the initial stage, you will probably have to travel all over the world. He added, specifically, when they send you over there, we have to wait for those who invited you to mature first. The elevator stopped on the 12th floor and the two stepped out. Lin Key said, indeed, if sent over now, it would just be cannon fodder. It's better to train abroad than that. They entered the hospital room. Mr. Yang sat down in a chair and said, I know the business you are managing makes a good profit, but how many generations that money will last is uncertain. He continued, the organization is a very good place. If you can take another path, then you and your family can be known as the Lin family. Lin Key replied, I understand. I won't bother you anymore. I still have to go sell fruits. Mr. Yang waved his hand. Go ahead. Lin Key left and Mr. Hong Shan immediately asked, Mr. Gang, is it a bit early to tell him this now? Mr. Yang lay down on the bed and said, it is no longer early. A few days ago, he participated in an organization's action and achieved second place individually. I don't know what he did, but I'm sure both of you know how difficult it is to obtain second place. Mr. Shan was surprised. He just participated in a mission and already got second place. You are worried he will turn against us, aren't you? Mr. Yang replied, he is too outstanding. I think he will be targeted by foreigners in a short time. Honestly, I fear he might lose his way. Xiao Gao interjected, I feel that's impossible. His heart is much tougher than we imagine. He won't be tempted by such things. Xiao Gao has great confidence in Lin Key. I believe that not long from now, he'd become a sharp sword for the organization and take over Tili Island. Mr. Yang laughed heartily. Ha ha, I feel the same way. It has been many years since I have met someone so interesting. I believe he will not disappoint me. Down on Tong Cheng Street, Lin Key arrived at the fruit stall. Yao Yao asked him, Lin, why are you only coming now? Your fruit has been here for a while. Lin Key replied, there were some matters at home, so I came late. I assume business is going well for you? There's only half left. Yao Yao replied, much better than yesterday. I guess I will finish selling by noon. Just as Yao Yao was carrying the fruit box, she heard someone scream, ah, help. She turned to Lin Key and said, Brother Lin, it seems something has happened in the area. Lin Key quickly put down the cargo box and ran over. He said, let's go check it out. When they arrived, a billboard had fallen on a girl's leg. She was crying out in pain. Lin Key and Yao Yao rushed over. Yao Yao anxiously said, Brother Lin, something's wrong. Lin Key reassured everyone, don't panic. The girl's mother was in a panic, tears streaming down her face. She cried, security guard, please help us save my daughter. As Lin Key was lifting the billboard, he shouted, stop talking, get over here and help. He and the security guard lifted the billboard. The girl's leg had been pierced by a piece of glass. Lin Key examined it closely and speculated. It seems the tendons and muscles are damaged. It looks like her ankle has been pierced by many shards. Yao Yao comforted the girl's mother. Aunt, don't worry, I will call a doctor right now. Lin Key stopped her. Don't call a doctor, it's pointless. He picked the girl up and said the blood vessels, tendons, and nerves in her leg are all severed. If we wait for an ambulance to take her to the hospital, her leg will surely have to be amputated. The girl's mother was extremely terrified and trembling, saying, Young man, what should we do now? Please help me think of a way. Lin Key replied, the task now is to quickly stitch the blood vessels and nerves back together and only then stitch the muscle tendons, but it must be completed in a short amount of time. The longer it takes, the greater the chances of leaving behind complications. After that, he picked the girl up and ran. Outside the area, there was a private hospital. He took her there, hoping for a slight chance. At the hospital, the doctor was examining the girl's wound. After a moment, the doctor came out and spoke to her mother. I am Liu Tao, the head of this private hospital. Her condition is very serious. I cannot perform such a stitching surgery. It is best to take her to Huashan Hospital. Only the doctors there are qualified to carry out this surgery. The girl's mother anxiously said, but the young man just said that my daughter's condition is very serious. We have to treat her quickly or she will be disabled. Besides, my daughter is in this condition. It's not convenient for her to be moved around. Dr. Liu Tao explained, our equipment here is very complete and can handle this surgery, but there are no specialists in this field here. If we can find a specialist in this area to come, that would be fine. Her mother took out her phone and said urgently, my husband knows the director of Huashan Hospital. Liu Tao, upon hearing this, quickly replied, that's great. You should find someone right away. I'll go inside first to treat the wound and minimize the danger as much as possible. You need to hurry too. Don't waste any time. When Liu Tao reached the door, he was startled to see Lin Key treating the wound. Liu Tao shouted loudly, "What are you doing? Don't treat the patient without permission. It's very dangerous." Lin Key, angry, retorted, "If you think you can do it, then do it yourself. If not, just shut up." The security guard nearby added, "What are you talking about? He is a professional doctor and you are just a fruit seller. Don't you think you're doing something wrong?" Lin Key frowned and coldly replied, "If you can do it, then do it. If not, be quiet. If I can't do it, I won't care about this." The security guard was left speechless. Lin Key continued, "Get outside and don't interrupt my work." Liu Tao observed Lin Key's proficient technique and cautiously said, "Young man, I can see you have some basic medical knowledge, but those who've been staying on Tongcheng are successful people in this country. If something goes wrong, you will bear the greatest responsibility." Lin Key responded calmly, "Do you think I want to deal with this? If not treated in time, she will be disabled for life. So if you don't want anything to happen to her, just be quiet and cooperate with me to complete the surgery." The girl asked the doctor, "Will I be disabled? Will I be able to dance again?" Lin Key comforted her, "Don't worry too much. The amputation process will be a bit painful, and you will have to endure it for a little while. Right now, anesthesia cannot be used." He carefully handled the wounds, extracting the fragments from the girl's leg. Liu Tao was very surprised. This skilled and professional maneuver was not something an ordinary person could do. After removing all the fragments, Lin Key wiped his hands and said, "Now I will inject the anesthetic for you. It won't hurt soon." The girl said, "Thank you." Lin Key turned to the nurse. "Hand me the anesthetic. Tell the family to step outside." The nurse replied, "Okay." They closed the door. Lin Key requested, "Bring the light closer." Liu Tao answered, "Oh, sure." Lin Key began to inject the anesthetic into the injured area. He then told Liu Tao, "Help me." Liu Tao agreed. "Okay." He started to stitch up the girl's wound. Liu Tao was worried. This distance isn't right. It's too close, and it's very easy to break apart. Lin Key calmly handled the stitches. Seeing that the doctor behind him seemed to be unsure, he assured, "It's fine. I know my limits." Each stitch on the patient's skin was done meticulously and carefully, as if Lin Key had received professional training. Indeed, it was the brilliance of the main character. The doctor observed the stitches, astonished by their high precision. He could actually start sewing from just 1 millimeter. The more he looked, the more the doctor admired and praised Lin Key. This brother was truly amazing. In the hospital, hurried footsteps echoed, running heavily. It was Seo Lidong, CEO of Lidong Century President of Media. His face clearly showed extreme worry and tension to the point of sweating. "Where is Tong Tong? What is the situation?" he asked urgently upon seeing his wife with tears in her eyes. The mother was still confused, but when she saw her husband arrive, she stood up. "The doctor is treating her inside. Have you contacted the hospital? When will the doctor arrive?" Hearing that their daughter was being treated, he felt a little relieved. Mr. Duan from the hospital affiliated with the Horde is on his way. They are rushing over. "What is the current situation?" She sighed, speaking pessimistically. "I don't know either. It's been a long time since she went in. They say she needs surgery quickly. Otherwise, she will become disabled. Hurry and urge the doctor to come quickly." Every second that passed was truly uncomfortable and suffocating for this couple. It wasn't until 10 minutes later that the one they were waiting for finally arrived. Mr. Xiao hurried out to greet him. "Mr. Duan, Director Lai, you two have finally arrived." Mr. Duan just arrived and asked, "Where is your daughter? Hurry and take me to see her." He was also extremely worried when he learned that his patient was in very bad condition. Yes, let's go and see. This matter cannot be delayed." The lady quickly welcomed them in the processing room. "I will take you in with all my heart for the profession." The girl over here saw the male lead about to be interrupted and stopped him. "What do you two want to do?" "They are performing stitches in there. You cannot go in." The lady, upon hearing that, was struck dumb, as if struck by lightning. "Oh, they are performing surgery? Didn't the head nurse say it couldn't be done?" She was so angry that her hands clenched tight, telling head nurse Liu it really can't be done. It's the fruit vendor outside the gate. A series of shocking information played with the hearts of parents whose children were in critical emergency. Everyone looked pale. "Oh, you said the fruit vendor is performing surgery? Indeed, there is no hospital in the world that would let an unqualified person disrupt like that." He was so annoyed that he shouted in the hospital without restraint, pointing directly at the nurse and scolding. "What are you doing? Even if it's a private hospital, you cannot behave like this." He threatened, "Do you think I will report your situation here to the sanitation department? Tomorrow, your hospital will be sealed off." Indeed, touching your children does not leave any parents at peace. Mr. Duan, after 15 years working in the medical field, perhaps for the first time encountered a case of such misconduct in a hospital. His doctor's conscience would not allow him to remain silent, so he spoke out in criticism. You people have completely disregarded the patients. The young nurse, timid and weak, said, I am just a staff member accompanying the male lead. Even though I know it's wrong, I still speak untruths. Surely, your yelling at me will be in vain. I am just an employee. Besides, the surgery has already been completed and we are in the final stage of suturing. It would be pointless for you to enter. You can wait here. It will be pushed out soon. These words struck the parents like a dagger to the heart. The mother sank down in shock, covering her face and crying uncontrollably. Meanwhile, Mr. Xiao kept punching the wall, cursing. Damn it, if anything happens to my daughter, I will not forgive him. As soon as he finished speaking, the door opened and the hospital bed was pushed out. The mother hurried over to ask her daughter, Daughter, how are you? Are you still in pain? In contrast to the tension of the parents, the girl looked cheerful and happy. I'm fine. The doctor said I can dance again in the future. Lin Key had just stepped out of the operating room after a successful surgery, but he was severely criticized by the patient's family. You bastard! Who allowed you to operate on my daughter? What are you even? Mr. Xiao had just unleashed a stream of anger when the director interjected. Wait, Director Lin, why are you here? The direct question left the father speechless. Lin Key calmly replied, I'm at Tong Cheng selling fruits. I happened to witness this and brought it over. Oh, why have you come? The director chuckled. Mr. Xiao is my friend. His daughter had an incident, so he called me over. If I had known you were here, I wouldn't have rushed over, he said. Mr. Xiao's mind was still loading, taking too long to process. He turned to Mr. Duan to ask, What is going on? Do you know him? Why are you calling him the chief? The director then introduced, Let me introduce everyone. This is Lin Key. He was the chief at our Huashan hospital. In terms of technical skills, I am not his match. So you can rest assured about this surgery. Your daughter will not have any issues and will not be disabled. Lin Key merely smirked at the flattering introduction. The nurses, upon hearing his name, could not help but admire him. So young and already so impressive. The girl with black hair felt a bit smitten after hearing his identity. Lin, so you are a medical expert. Lin Key took off his surgical gown and calmly instructed the patient's family. The surgery is complete. For the next month, do not let her engage in any activities that involve getting out of bed. Gentle massages can be done to prevent the muscles from adhesions. This way, it won't affect her later life. You can put your worries aside. The lady knelt in surprise before Lin Key, continuously expressing her gratitude to the savior who would save her daughter. Director Lin, I sincerely thank you. If I had not met you, my daughter would have been doomed. He gently helped the woman up. It's nothing formal. It's what I should do. You don't need to be like this. I won't charge for the surgery, but you need to account for the materials used. Indeed, it is hard to find someone as kind-hearted and compassionate as our male lead, Lin Key. The woman was very moved. All right, we understand. At that moment, Mr. Xiao expressed his gratitude to the benefactor. Director Lin, thank you so much. It was truly a beautiful ending. Tom Tong, filled with anxiety after the surgery, was well taken care of by Lin Key's skilled hands. At this point, Mr. Duan, with his hands on his chest, cautiously reported the situation to Xiao Lai Dong about his daughter. You don't need to think anymore. This child is perfectly fine. Tong Tong's parents had expressions of joy and breathed a sigh of relief at the director's announcement. He calmly explained the situation. The injury was handled extremely well. We can get Director Lin to perform surgery for both of them. It's truly a stroke of luck for them. At this moment, turning to Lin Key, he was leaning on his fruit stall. To the astonishment of the black-haired girl, she closely followed him and pressed. Oh, Mr. Lin can do surgery too? Lin Key, pleased with himself, pointing his thumb at his chest, beaming at the girl's surprised and excited face. It's a piece of cake. I'm actually the head of the cardiology department at Huashan Hospital. This type of surgery is nothing. A passerby who heard the conversation also chimed in enthusiastically. No wonder you have so much money. Turns out you're the head there. He continued, so wouldn't it be better to come to you for a checkup in the future? Suddenly, a loud call came from afar, directed straight at Lin Key in front of the fruit stall. Director Lin. Mr. Xiao, with a beaming expression, approached and extended his hands to thank Lin Key for saving his beloved daughter's precious life. Thank you so much. If I hadn't met you, my daughter's life would have been ruined. Lin Key was also surprised by this. While still diligently wiping the round orange, he replied, No need to be polite. Although I no longer work at Huashan Hospital, I can't just stand by when faced with such a situation. Mr. Xiao felt a bit disappointed, his expression becoming less pleasant. He drew his hands back, hesitating to speak in front of Lin Key. Mainly my wife and I had a bad attitude earlier. Please don't hold it against us. He quickly continued, Director Lin, you have time in the evening? I would like to invite you to dinner. Lin Key quickly pointed to the deep red apple display and replied, I don't need dinner. I still have to sell fruit. Mr. Xiao's face lit up, excited by Lin Key's suggestion and ready to make a purchase. What are you talking about? How much is the fruit per kilogram? I'll buy it all. He placed his hand on his chest very sincerely. It's just right that my daughter is in the hospital these days, so I should buy some fruit. Lin Key showed a kind smile and raised his hand to stop Mr. Xiao's action. Don't, my fruit sells for 3,000 per kilogram. If you buy it all, I would feel embarrassed. He continued to add, it would be like I'm cheating you out of money. Mr. Xiao quickly wiped the smile off his face, becoming stiff and dumbfounded. 3,000 per kilogram? The guy started rambling about his overpriced stall. He introduced to Mr. Xiao. Yesterday sold 2,500, today estimated to sell 3,000. He raised his hand high to indicate the price. So, uncle, don't buy. I don't want to take advantage of you. Mr. Xiao, without hesitating, took out his phone and smiled at the exorbitant amount from Lin Key and replied, no problem. You saved my daughter. Whatever it costs is worth it. Seeing this, Lin Key stood up and took the opportunity to entice Mr. Xiao to buy from him. To the old man's second surprise, he said, your daughter is recovering. She can't eat that much. Buy 10 kilos first, eat it all, and then buy more. Mr. Xiao also smiled back, opening the payment code of the stall. Then I'll buy 10 kilos first. Just pack it for me. Mr. Xiao, grateful for Lin Key's chivalrous act, quickly took out his business card and said, Mr. Lin, here is my business card. Mr. Xiao held out the business card to Lin Key with gratitude. If you ever encounter any trouble in the future, just call me. Lin Key received the business card and attentively looked at every detail. Mr. Xiao, in front of him, replied cautiously, all right, I understand. Mr. Xiao held a bag of fruit and said, then I'll leave you to it. I'm heading out. The girl looked at Lin Key with an admiring gaze at his shyness as he scratched his head. She said, Lin, I discovered that your integrity is incredibly upright. Ordinary people can't compare to you. Suddenly, two girls appear, one with long green hair and a very revealing dress, and the other with curly blonde hair. They waved to Lin Key. Brother. Lin Key looked at the two girls standing in front of the fruit stand with a surprised expression. Here to buy fruit again? You bought so much yesterday. Surely you haven't finished it yet. The two girls, with bright sparkling eyes and phones in hand, stood before Lin Key admiringly and confessed to him, it's definitely him. The name and appearance are spot on. It must be him. The girl with green hair pointed her phone at Lin Key and asked about his identity. Brother, this must be you, right? The phone screen was playing back an image of Lin Key from a movie he once participated in. In his hand was a sharp knife, and he was posing with a sharp look aimed at his opponent in front of him. Lin Key, pleased with himself, ran his hand through his hair in a suave manner and replied, oh, that's me. He continued to bask in his victory. I honestly didn't expect to be recognized. The blonde girl laughed merrily with her sister and continued to express her admiration at Lin Key's stand. Oh my gosh, you're on the same team as Zhao Yini. How lucky can one be? In my whole life, if I could have just half of what she has, I would be satisfied. In response to her confession, Lin Key stroked his chin and asked the question that was on his mind. Are you also in the entertainment industry? When Zhao Yini participated in the show, it didn't seem like she was very popular. The girl casually answered Lin Key's question, pointing to explain, that's about it. We're models. Zhao Yini has a movie coming out. She continued the story. Even though she plays a supporting role, she's already outshining the main character. The lead is about to be promoted too. Lin Key seemed to realize something from her words, and she quickly bent down to the stand to buy something. Hey, can you sell me another kilogram of peaches? Seeing this, Lin Key looked surprised and immediately asked back, did you too finish all 10 kilograms you bought yesterday? The girl with green hair smiled brightly, eagerly responding with heavy hands. Peaches are not the main thing. We just introduce them to others. She enthusiastically continued. They say that your fruits have beauty benefits, so people ask us to buy them. So I just came here to pick some more lychees. Lin Kei, selecting lychees and packing them into a bag for the girl, said warmly, since you are regular customers, I'll give you 2 cherries as a gift. The 2 girls left feeling satisfied, cheerfully bidding farewell to Lin Key. Thank you, big brother. We're leaving now, and we will help you promote. Lin Key raised his hand with an ox sign in response. Looking at his fresh fruit stall, Lin Key thought to himself, this golden land is truly amazing. After 2 days, the fruits showed no signs of rotting. As he was lost in thought in front of the onion stall, his phone suddenly vibrated. A call from someone. He quickly pressed the button and answered. Hello? On the other end of the line, a girl's voice rang out. Hey, I need to talk to you about something. Lin Key smiled and listened. Come with me to join for a meal so we can discuss it in more detail. Lin Key replied excitedly. Send me the address. I'm also hungry. A luxurious restaurant with an elegant amber paint, just like it was meant for the aristocracy, appeared as the car stopped. Director C, in a stylish red dress, stepped out of the car. Lin Key, in a dapper suit, raised his hand to say hello. It's been a while. Director C began the conversation about today's meeting. Ever since filming the program ended, I've left. Now I'm starting my own advertising company. Lin Key was surprised to hear this. Are you pulling in investments by yourself? I have money. Just tell me the number. The girl smiled and replied, I want to plan a variety show. Today, I have a meeting with a director and Zhao Yi to discuss collaboration. Moving toward the dining table, the girl continued to talk about her plan. The director is not a big issue. The main problem is that Zhao Yi is in a meeting. It's very difficult to pull her in. She calmly added, that's why I called you here. Lin Key sat down heavily, quickly asking, you want me to go there and persuade her? The girl responded smartly, exactly. Suddenly, the door opened and the guests appeared. Zhao Yi, in an elegant dress, arrived with her assistant. Surprised, she said, Lin Key, you're here too. Zhao Yi replied radiantly, I always hope we can collaborate again. The time filming the program on Kukawa Island, I still reminisced about it, until now. Lin Key poured a glass of wine, elegantly offering it to the girl in front of him. So shall we make a decision about today? For Director C's program, you must come to support. She happily replied, no problem. Holding the wine glass, Zhao Yi's face flushed as she said, if you ask, I will definitely help. Director C couldn't help but admire, whispering to Lin Key, not bad at all. The sound of footsteps echoed and a pair of red sneakers approached. It was Double Hai Hong, a well-known director with a cold expression and stylish parted hair. Director C quickly raised his hand to introduce. Lin Ke, let me introduce you. This is Director Zhao Hai Hong, who has created many famous works. Seeing this, Zhao Yi quickly greeted, hello, Director Zhao, I am Zhao Yi. I've heard of you for a long time. It's truly an honor to have the opportunity to dine with you. Director Zhao suddenly recognized the girl in front of him. I know you. Your new historical drama is quite good. What a coincidence. I have a project that's looking for you to discuss. Zhao Yi beamed and replied brightly. Thank you, Director Zhao. It is my honor to collaborate with you. Director C turned to introduce. Director Zhao, this is Lin Key. He was the winner of the wild survival program that I directed last time. Director Zhao was surprised and Lin Key was also astonished. He continued, weren't you involved in a fight with someone at the Yanjing bar before? Lin Key looked puzzled and confused. Director Zhao gritted his teeth and said loudly, one of the people you fought was named Zhao Zhenyu, my nephew. Lin Key cut to the chase and responded, so it's not a coincidence. There's no way around it. It must be that he's just unlucky and insists on acting tough. Zhao and those brutes started the trouble on their own. What else could I do? Director Zhao slammed his hand on the table, stood up abruptly, and angrily refused. Director C, I feel this meal is no longer necessary. Let's break up right now. Lin Key braced himself, staring at Director Zhao. Director C stood up, flustered, and said, Director Zhao, let me see you off. Director Zhao looked at her with an unfriendly expression. No need. Zhao Yi and her assistant immediately stood up as well. Her assistant anxiously called out, Director Zhao, wait, we will go with you. Director C looked at Zhao Yi with an annoyed expression, his face showing concern. Didn't we agree to collaborate? If you leave, then what will happen? Director Zhao glanced at her without saying anything. Zhao Yi, angry, retorted to Director C, don't talk nonsense. Zhao Yi stated clearly, we never agreed to collaborate with you. Moreover, there is no contract signed between us. Director Zhao looked at Zhao Yi, his face darkening. If you two know each other, then just collaborate. I will find someone else for my film. Zhao Yi panicked and spoke up. Director Zhao, you misunderstood. She anxiously forced a smile and quickly explained, I don't know them. What I said earlier was just casual conversation. Zhao Yi continued to panic and explain, knowing you would be here, I thought your relationship was good, so I just agreed. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't have said that. Lin Key stood up, looking at Zhao Yi and Director Zhao, who had their backs to him. Annoyed, he frowned and said, if you don't want to collaborate, that's fine, but saying you don't know each other is a bit excessive. Zhao Yi turned her face and defiantly replied, indeed, we are not close. We only collaborated once on a project and there hasn't been much interaction, so our relationship can't be considered good, can it? Director C, hearing this, became enraged, slammed her hands on the table, and bowed her head in silence. Lin Key patted her back, comforting her, all right, calm down. If she leaves, so be it. The entertainment industry isn't lacking in others. Zhao Yi whispered to Director Zhao. Director Zhao, let's go find a place to discuss in more detail. Director Zhao glanced at Lin Key and Director C with a smug expression, then said to Zhao Yi, let's go. The door closed. Zhao Yi and Director Zhao went outside. Director C clenched her fists and slammed them on the table. Lin Key looked at her, seeing her furious, and spoke up. How can someone be so shameless? Lin Key suddenly laughed and said, Why are you angry? It's not a big deal. Not worth getting that upset. Director C, frustrated, spoke up. I didn't expect her to be so ungrateful. Without him, she wouldn't even have made it on board. For a bit of fame, she doesn't care about her dignity. Lin Key calmly soothed her anger. All right, cool down. Let's just find a place to eat. I'm hungry. Director C looked at Lin Key, puzzled. Isn't this a restaurant? Isn't it allowed here? Lin Key cheerfully explained, The food here isn't good. It's too far from the barbecue place. Saying that, Lin Key grabbed his bag and they both walked out together. Director C smiled and said as they walked, You are truly the most down-to-earth, wealthy person I have met in years. At the barbecue place, Lin Key complimented the food once it was served. He looked at Director C and asked, What is the format of the program in your plan? Director C took a sip of water and replied, It's similar to your current lifestyle, like a rural experience show with a slow pace. I want to create a program that focuses on, Do you have any suggestions? Lin Key was chewing his food, and upon hearing the question, answered, Most domestic variety shows are basically the same. Find a famous star, then add a few exceptionally good actors. This way, you can control the pace for the audience. Director C suddenly got a bit excited, thought of something, and said, I think so too. But what worries me now is the actors and the production team. Lin Key responded while chewing his food. If you want, I can help ask. I will let you know tomorrow. Director C happily said, That's great. After a while of chatting, the food on the plate was gone. Lin Key stood up, looked at her, and said, Are you full? I have to get to work. I'll contact you tomorrow. At the store Lin Key was selling when a customer walked in. The middle-aged woman said, Young man, sell me 2 kilograms of apples. Lin Key held a large bag of apples in front of the customer with a smiling face. Don't these apples look great? I saw you come to buy them yesterday. Another woman, a beautiful lady standing nearby, gently responded, Not just great, but really good. You are truly honest. I did mistake you. My daughter ate your apples yesterday, and the acne on her face has disappeared. This beauty benefit is really not an exaggeration, so I came to buy more. Lin Key handed the bag of apples to the customer and said, The apples are weighed. It's 6,130 in total, but if you give me 6,000, that's fine. The beautiful customer smiled, looking at him with interest. Young man, I want to negotiate this with you. How do you grow your fruits? I want to invest. An investment of $5 million. What do you think?